Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to unpack something that, well, it often feels a bit like magic, doesn't it? Charisma.
It really does. That ability some people have to just light up a room, connect instantly.
Exactly. But the source material we're looking at today, it's packed with science, suggesting it's, well, maybe not magic after all.
Right. It suggests charisma is actually a set of uh, learnable skills, specific behaviors.
Which is fantastic news. So our mission here is to really get into this guide, pull apart the science, understand why these things work, and, give you the core insights.
Make it actionable.
Yeah, think of this as your shortcut to understanding what makes someone engaging and maybe how you can turn up your own charisma dial a bit.
Sounds good. Let's explore how it's done.
Okay, let's dive right in. So tip number 1. It seems almost, well, obvious. Smiling. Just smiling. Why is that so high on the list?
Well, it might sound simple, but the science is actually quite compelling. There's this concept often called the mirror effect.
The mirror.
Yeah. Basically, when you offer a genuine smile, the other person's brain often instinctively mirrors that expression, which can trigger a related positive feeling in them.
So my smiling can literally make someone else feel a bit happier. Just like that.
Pretty much, yeah. And research, like the work from psychologist Paul Ekman that our source mentions, shows it's more than just polite. A real smile actually amplifies happiness, but importantly, it also signals trust
Trust.
and closeness. It's a very fundamental human signal of warmth, non-threat.
I can totally see that. When you meet someone new, right? A warm, genuine smile just makes you feel safer, more at ease.
Exactly. It changes the whole initial energy. So consciously using a sincere smile, that can immediately shift an interaction.
Leveraging our basic human wiring. Okay, makes sense. So moving on, tip 2 is about eye contact. Again, we all know it's important, but how do you do it right? Charismatically. The guide gets specific here.
Yeah, this is crucial. It's definitely not about staring someone down. That just feels aggressive or weird.
Right.
Research, like this Stanford study mentioned in our source, shows that making appropriate eye contact really conveys confidence and sincerity. It tells the other person you're present, you're engaged with them.
Okay, confidence and sincerity, I get that. But the appropriate part, how long is that? Is there a rule?
Well, the source gives a pretty specific guideline. It recommends aiming for holding eye contact for around, say, 3 to 5 seconds at a time.
3 to 5 seconds, okay.
Yeah. Long enough to show you're connected and sincere,
Yeah.
but not so long that it becomes uncomfortable or, intimidating.
Yeah.
Then you naturally glance away briefly before re-engaging.
Ah, okay. So it's like finding that sweet spot, not avoiding their eyes, but not locking on either. That feels much more human. Connect, then a little break.
Precisely. It's a subtle rhythm, really, a dance of engagement.
Okay. Number 3. This one really hits home for me. Active listening. I think we all know when someone's really listening versus just waiting to talk. Why is this so magnetic?
Oh, this is absolutely fundamental. It's all about making the other person feel genuinely valued,
Yeah.
seen, heard.
That feeling is huge, isn't it? Like you actually matter in that moment.
It really is. And the source cites research, for example, from Harvard, showing that people perceived as good listeners, they're rated much more highly by others. They gain more support.
That makes sense.
Because when you truly listen, you're not just hearing words.
Yeah.
You're building rapport, understanding their perspective. It just drastically improves the quality of the relationship, the connection.
Yeah, it's more than just nodding along, isn't it? It's like asking questions, maybe reflecting back what you heard, showing you actually got it.
Exactly. It's fully engaging with what they're sharing. That builds immense trust.
Okay, foundational stuff. Let's move to something more physical. Tip 4, good posture, standing tall. How does that play into charisma?
Right. This taps into that fascinating mind-body connection. Our source references research, including Professor Amy Cuddy's well-known work on this.
Ah, yeah, the power posing idea.
Sort of related, yeah. The core idea is that good, confident posture, standing tall, shoulders back, open, doesn't just look confident to others. It actually has measurable effects inside your own body.
Inside? Like how?
Well, studies suggest adopting these postures can influence your hormones. It's linked to an increase in testosterone, often called the confidence hormone, and a decrease in cortisol, the stress hormone.
Whoa, wait, so standing confidently can literally make you feel more confident chemically. It's not just an outward show.
That's the idea. It's like a feedback loop. Your body position sends signals to your brain, affecting your internal state, which then reinforces the confident posture. It projects confidence out, sure, but it also helps build it from within.
That's pretty amazing. A simple physical shift having that kind of impact. Okay, tip number 5, maintaining cleanliness, being tidy. This feels basic, like good hygiene.
It is basic, but the science links it to first impressions, which
Yeah.
are incredibly powerful and formed very quickly.
In seconds, right?
Exactly. Our source points out we evaluate people using all our senses, but sight and smell are often dominant in those first moments. And the guide notes that people who appear clean and well-kept are unconsciously perceived as more trustworthy.
Trustworthy, interesting, and healthy too, it says.
Yes, trustworthy and healthy. It's like a subconscious signal about self-care, reliability, maybe even attention to detail. It taps into primal assessments before you even speak.
So it's less about fashion and more about those fundamental signals your appearance sends about like competence and well-being.
Pretty much. It's leveraging those instant, unconscious judgments we all make.
Okay. Number 6 is one I think a lot of people find appealing. Having humor. Being funny. Why is that seen as charismatic?
Well, the source suggests humor is often perceived as a sign of high social intelligence.
Social intelligence. How so?
Think about it. Good humor often requires understanding context, reading the room, timing. It shows you understand social dynamics. Plus, it connects people emotionally, releases tension.
Yeah, a shared laugh is like an instant bond, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the source mentions research, particularly in romantic psychology, consistently finds humor very attractive. It connects it to brain functions related to creativity and empathy, too.
So it signals a quick mind, empathy, the ability to connect, not just telling jokes.
Exactly. It shows mental flexibility, a certain lightness, and a way to build positive shared experiences. Makes people feel good, feel connected.
I like that framing. Okay, tip 7 brings us back inside. Controlling your emotions. Emotional intelligence. EQ. How does managing your own feelings boost charisma?
This is huge for interpersonal effectiveness. The source references Daniel Goleman's work here. High EQ means you understand your own emotions, you can manage them, and you can recognize and respond effectively to others' emotions.
So it's not about being cold or emotionless, but aware and stilled.
Precisely. The guide highlights that people with high EQ are just better at building relationships. They're more liked. Charismatic people, it suggests, aren't constantly thrown off by their own moods, and they're sensitive to how others are feeling.
Right, they seem stable, reliable.
Yeah, that emotional stability and responsiveness makes people feel safe and understood around them. It builds a lot of trust.
That makes total sense. Someone calm under pressure, empathetic when needed. That's definitely magnetic. Okay, number 8, using positive language. How much do our actual words matter?
Quite a bit, apparently, right down to the brain level. The source mentions MRI studies showing positive words can actually trigger positive responses in the listener's brain.
Wow, really? My words can literally light up someone's brain in a good way.
That's what the science suggests. It points to simple things using words like fun, happy, great, expressing gratitude with thank you, focusing on the positive, the appreciative. It just naturally draws people in.
It creates a better vibe, basically.
Yeah, it makes interactions more pleasant, more uplifting. It shapes the emotional tone of the conversation.
Makes you think about how much negativity might slip into our everyday language without us even realizing it. Okay, tip 9, empathy. This feels linked to listening and EQ, but what's the specific angle here?
The source connects empathy directly to our biology, specifically to oxytocin.
Ah, the love hormone, the bonding chemical.
Exactly. When you really engage empathetically, truly trying to understand and share someone's feelings, it helps release oxytocin in both of you. This creates a sense of security, fosters trust.
So it's a biological bonding process.
Essentially, yes.
Right.
The guide calls it a fundamental skill for building deep, meaningful connections. It moves beyond just understanding to actually feeling with someone.
Wow. So empathy isn't just nice, it's chemically reinforcing connection and trust. That's powerful.
Transforms interaction into real human bonding.
Okay, and that brings us to the final tip, number 10, which feels like it pulls a lot of this together. Having self-confidence, and this is key with humility. How does that work?
This touches on self-affirmation, that core belief in your own value and ability. The source calls this kind of grounded self-belief inner charisma. It radiates outward.
Inner charisma. I like that. It's not just putting on a show.
Exactly. And it connects to psychological concepts like self-efficacy.
Yeah.
Your belief you can handle things, succeed. People with that genuine confidence, they tend to project leadership, trustworthiness.
But the humility part is crucial.
Right. Absolutely crucial. It's confidence without arrogance. It's believing in yourself while remaining open, willing to learn, valuing others, admitting when you're wrong. That combination, strong self-belief tempered with humility, is incredibly attractive.
Yeah, it's approachable confidence, not intimidating, someone you feel you can trust and maybe learn from.
Precisely. It invites collaboration, not competition.
Wow. Okay, so we've gone through all 10 tips. From, smiling and posture right through to empathy and that blend of confidence and humility. It really seems like charisma isn't some mystical gift.
No, the source makes a strong case that it's built from these interconnected behaviors, grounded in psychology and even biology.
And it feels like working on one area could naturally help with others, too.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah?
Like, better active listening probably makes you more empathetic, which won't lead you to use more positive language and so on. They definitely seem to reinforce each other.
It's like a whole system. Okay, so here's a final thought for you, our listener, kind of spinning off from this guide. Given all these science-backed tips we just discussed, what if you picked just one? Maybe the one that felt most interesting, or maybe most challenging. And what if you consciously practiced just that one behavior consistently, maybe for the next week? How might that start to subtly change things? Not just how others see you, but maybe even how you feel about yourself.
That's a really interesting personal experiment to consider. A small change, potentially big ripples.
Exactly. Something to think about.
Yeah.
Pick one, give it a shot, see what unfolds. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive.
My pleasure. Until next time.
We'll see you then.